Mysteries of the Philippines, the Teleportation of Gil Perez. Gil Perez was a regular soldier of the Filipino Guardia Civil in the 16th century. It was a day after the governor was assassinated by Chinese pirates that he took his post as a sentry at the palace of the Governor-General in Manila. The story goes that Perez decided to rest his eyes for a second and lean back on the wall of the palace after a long day of guarding and waiting for the replacement of the governor. When Perez opened his eyes again, he found himself in an unfamiliar environment. Staying true to his duty as a sentry, he continued to guard even the unknown location he found himself in until he was noticed by local guardsmen. From the Governor-General's palace in Manila, Perez somehow ended up in Mexico City's Plaza Mayor. He was placed in jail after questioning as authorities suspected he might either be a deserter or feared that he may be a servant of the devil. It was only 2 months after Perez's puzzling arrival in Mexico that passengers aboard a Manila galleon confirmed the events that Perez shared with Mexican authorities, as well as eyewitness accounts of his own whereabouts on the day of his departure from Manila. Aside from the fantastical nature of Perez's story, historians are also skeptical of the authenticity of this story, as it was only recorded a century after it supposedly happened. On October 24, 1593, a soldier called Gil Perez was on guard duty outside the governor's palace in Manila. Extra vigilance was required, as it had been learned just the day before that Governor Gomez Perez Dasmariñas had been hacked to death by Chinese pirates. The soldier began to feel dizzy and exhausted. He leaned against the wall and rested for a moment with his eyes closed. When he opened his eyes a few seconds later, he found himself in unfamiliar surroundings. What he couldn't know at that time was he was standing in Mexico City's Plaza Mayor, thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean. He was soon noticed by some local guardsmen who spotted his unusual uniform and strange behavior. He was taken to the local authorities and, under questioning, he told his captors that just moments before he had been guarding the governor's palace in Manila. He admitted that he had no idea where he was or what had happened to him. A different set of officers then questioned Perez, attempting to trip him up, but the soldier clung to his story. Finally, the officers called in a religious expert, the Franciscan friar Gaspar de San Agustin. According to the friar's written account, Perez told the following tale. "My name is Gil Perez. As to standing sentry here, I am doing as nearly as possible what I was ordered to do. I was ordered this morning to mount guard at the doors of the governor's palace in Manila. I know very well that this is not the governor's palace, and evidently I am not in Manila. Why or how that may be, I know not. But here I am, and this is a palace of some kind, so I am doing my duty as nearly as possible. Last night the governor of the Philippines, His Excellency Don Gomez Perez Dasmariñas, had his head cracked with an axe and is dead of it." Totally baffled by this account, the friar did what any God-fearing 16th century Catholic would do: he handed him into the loving embrace of the Spanish Inquisition. Here the style of questioning was what today might be called enhanced interrogation. But whatever fearsome torture Perez was subjected to, he stuck to his story. The soldier then languished in jail for 2 months until a cargo ship arrived from the Philippines, carrying news that the governor of Manila had been killed exactly in accordance with Perez's report. The sailors were then sent to the jail, on the off chance that one of them might recognize Perez. As fate would have it, one of them did. According to the sailor, Perez was indeed a soldier of the palace guard, and hadn't been seen in Manila since the day he disappeared, October 24, 1593. The Inquisition, concluding that Perez had been the innocent victim of some supernatural force, allowed him to return to Manila. There he lived out the remainder of his life in quiet obscurity, apparently trying to put the strange events he had experienced behind him. Ever since, the tale has continued to prompt fascination and speculation. It clearly influenced Washington Irving's Tales of the Alhambra, which includes the story of Governor Moncho and the soldier. It was also discussed by Philippine national hero Jose Rizal, a keen compiler of strange and mysterious stories of his country. Other writers have suggested paranormal explanations for the story, ranging from alien abduction to spontaneous teleportation. Whatever the truth of the matter, this well-documented mystery is not likely to be explained away anytime soon.